Right, so I made a list of all the main benefits and all the changes that I've experienced and noticed since I've started doing KAP. So, the first one is alignment, knowing what is and what is not for you. So when you do KAP, your vibration rises very high, and you are in this frequency of, a lot of people say during decisions, I feel like I came home to myself. I know who I am. I know I'm home. And when you're in that state, you feel very clearly what's for you, what's not for you, what you need to pursue, what you don't need to pursue, what person you need to interact with, what person you don't need to interact with. So it's like your inner compass works instantly, and there's no hesitation about it. You feel it like, not for me. Okay. Second benefit is all your other practices, energetic practices, are amplified. So because of the surge of energy, the increased surge of energy after KAP, when you do meditations, they are like 5 times more effective, whatever meditation you do, because energetically you're like full, your battery is fully charged. So like the visions become harder, the kundalini is very active, the law of attraction works faster, you manifest things faster, things come faster, you receive messages way faster. Also, this is what a lot of people say is one of the first things that come is number 3. It's you stand and you speak in your own truth. So people start to really acknowledge their feelings and not talk themselves out of it or down. They acknowledge, whoa, this is how I feel, and this is what I want to communicate in this situation. And for the very first time, sometimes they actually have the courage to say what they mean and to truly experience that, and to stand in their own feelings, to honor their own feelings, and to not ignore them or push them away or think that they're not valuable or worthwhile. So that's like embodiment, right? Number 4, your path becomes more and more clearer. So all of a sudden, when you do KAP more and more, you start meeting the right people more often. You start being in the right place more often. You start seeing these synchronicities, and you get these opportunities that are the next puzzle to your path. That you learn something there, or you go through something there which you needed for your own inner growth or development. So your path becomes more and more like clearer and easier to follow because it's so clear, right? So number 5 is you become more sensitive to what food does to your body. So whenever you eat, you feel how your vibration goes down or it goes up. You feel that you actually have the responsibility for how you feel by being aware of what the food does to you when you eat it. So that's very great because it puts you in a position where you actually choose, do I want to feel light, open, expansive, free, or do I want to feel heavy, not free flowing, not energetically open? Because when you eat heavier or more processed foods, or whatever foods your body doesn't want, you will feel the shift. You will feel the shift from your body being open to closing. So you don't have a choice. Okay, a life path becomes more clearer. So your desires, they start to reorient themselves. So before KAP, you may have a lot of conflicting desires. One thing wants this, the other thing wants this, the other thing wants that. So you're going to, you're being pulled into different directions. But what KAP does is during the sessions, you release a lot of illusions. You literally, like I had visions where I saw certain desires, and I saw an energy cord being connected to it, being cut. And all of a sudden, I saw that it was an illusion. I saw that it was some kind of desire to fulfill some kind of unfilled need, right? And then you realize, I don't need that. I don't really need that. And the whole story becomes so like, whoa, it was really an illusion. And your feelings about it change instantly. Like you don't have to think about it or give it time to it. Instantly it changes. So, and then the desires that are there, that do arise, they are really honestly coming from your heart. So they are your higher self desires, or they are your true desires. And when you go towards them, you feel like this is so exactly what I need to do, and this is so perfect, and you feel a sense of like you're being led to it. Okay, so number 7, you feel more connected and more love. So when you're energetically more and more open, you are very sensitive to animals, to nature, to people. Your heart and your mind becomes more and more open. You're more receptive, you're more giving. You're just more in flow with life. You how would I explain this? You feel like energetically your experience of life is more intensified. It's like you're plugged in totally to whatever you're doing, and you feel the aliveness of everything way more because you feel more alive. So that's really amazing. Because we all want that. Number 8, letting go of trauma. So during this session, sometimes your body can start to shake or go through some kind of cathartic moment, screaming, crying, releasing emotion, whatever. And you actually feel sometimes, and sometimes it's unconscious, you let go of the pain that was attached to a past event or a trauma, or feelings or anger or whatever. And then after you go home, you feel like you've unburdened yourself, you've let it go, and you don't feel the heaviness of it anymore. So sometimes during the sessions, I saw people who brought this frustration with them, this anger, and they say, I've had this for weeks or for months, or this pain, this grief, or some kind of trauma, and then in the session they let it go, and it's worked through. Like the energy has worked it through, and you're free from it. You don't have to carry it with you anymore. I think that's one of the most amazing benefits from this, because it's almost like it's therapy, right? And it's instant. Okay, embracing your own shit. So with KAP, a lot of processes get started. One of the processes is when you go back into your life and you go into the integration process where you live your life with this new awareness and this new energy, you become aware of, the layer underneath your feelings, your feelings that are always here, but then there's the layer underneath, which is that what you suppress. All that stuff is coming up because it wants to be healed and acknowledged. So pain that you've been repressing, emotions that you've been repressing, desires that you've been repressing, people that you've been pushing away, all those things, they come up, and you live through it, you feel through it, you process it fully in your body, you understand it, you incorporate it, you integrate it, and then you let it go, or something happens with it, but it's not suppressed anymore, it's accepted and worked through. I've had that a couple of times. I must say it's very arduous, and you need some space in your life. But the great thing about KAP is, and this is perhaps number 10, you will never get what you're not ready for psychologically or mentally, physically, energetically. The cool thing about this is that when you do self-stimulating practices like yoga, kundalini, tai chi, qigong, tantra, whatever, you are stimulating your kundalini to rise up. But with this, the energy that the KAP energy that they use to connect with your kundalini and to work together with your kundalini, it is intelligent. It activates your energy. It allows whatever needs to happen, and then the energy actually goes back to dormant or is active if you're ready for it. And the material that is released, the psychic materials that is stored in each of your chakras that is released or processed through, is always given to you in a way, in a moment where you can handle it, where you're ready for it. You will never get something that you're not ready for. So it's very ultra safe. And I think that's really important, because you will not be put in a state or go through some kind of kundalini psychosis which you could have with the normal kundalini practices, right? If you read about the dangers about raising your kundalini, it could be dangerous because you don't understand what you're doing. You're trying to stimulate something which you do not understand, which has its own will, its own process. But with this modality, it has an intelligence, the non-dual intelligence, and the non-dual intelligence, it does what's needed, not less, not more, and then it's done. And the session is over, and you won't get knocked off so that you cannot function. You will be able to function in your daily life. Okay, next thing. You will uncover your gifts. So as the sessions progress, you will become more and more attuned to what you are capable of, whether it is in your life, what your gifts are, what your abilities are. Either it's psychic, it's speaking, writing, whatever whatever you're creative in, you will see during a session. And also, like for me, for instance, I learned that I could do energy transmissions with people, that I could read their chakras, the state of their chakras. I could start to communicate with my guardian angel, and I had a way more intimate connection with my energies and my inner life, which allowed me to also have that in the outer world, right? So, and that's very helpful because whenever I was confused or didn't know what to do, I just asked my guardian angel for guidance, and I would I wouldn't say channel, but I would receive the information, I would write it out, and I knew exactly this is what I need to go through. This is what I need to do. And it's very, you feel very supported. And that's one of the next benefits. If you don't believe in metaphysical reality or like something beyond the physical, with KAP, with your experiences, your reference point of the physical world, what is normal, it becomes broadened, and you start to incorporate the spiritual life and the spiritual dimension into your physical dimension, and so it becomes integrated. So you're a spiritual being living a human life, right? So those things, they are both incorporated, and when that happens, like, mystical experiences become very ordinary, right? Having communications with guardian angels, or seeing energies, all that, it becomes all very ordinary. It's not like it's something beyond there, and your connection to the divine becomes possible because all of a sudden you realize there is something beyond the physical. There is divinity, there is that, and that channel, it is allowed to stream, and you're actually allowing yourself to receive more and more and more and more, and to explore that dimension and to incorporate it. So there is clarity about what you need to do. So the more KAP that you do, the less confusion you will have, and the more clear you will be about what you need to do in your life. It becomes so obvious that this is what I need to do, this is what I don't need to do. And it happens on an energetic level. It's not because of some thoughts or some thinking that you've done or some pro and con list. It's just you've gone to the session, you've had an experience, either you had a vision, or you've had like some kind of trauma release, and all of a sudden you know exactly what is needed to be done in your life in certain areas, and it comes at the exact right moment. It gives you this sense of courage, like, I have now the power to actually do what I was afraid to do. I don't feel burdened, or I don't feel afraid to take the next step, because you feel so rooted in your energy. I remember I had this moment. I knew I had to cut something off in my life, and in my heart I knew, whoever I lose, whatever I lose in my life, my heart will go on. It was a knowing in my heart that I was strong enough to go further and to keep on going. Okay, the next thing is, when you go to KAP sessions regularly, you will feel this sense of community. You will start to see these people and you will understand we're all here together, sharing this energy, sharing this experience. And the mindset, the whole experience, the sharing, the the sessions, it's a real community about people who are dedicated to the transformation of the content of consciousness, right? Because the content is the consciousness, and we all have the same content. We are programmed all in the same way. So when you feel that sense of community, it is very helpful because it helps you to integrate. You see people, you talk about your experiences, they talk about their experiences, and because of that, you get this kind of reflection, and it all becomes very normal. It all becomes very integrated. It's not like something secretly you do in your private time that you cannot talk with anybody about. And that's really great. So your mind and heart becomes very open, right? You become way more open to ideas that you weren't before, because all of a sudden you sense into it energetically. And also your heart becomes very open. You become very sensitive to what's happening around you. You feel literally way more empathy for people, for animals, for nature, for yourself. Your mind can perceive things in a new way, in a broader way, where it's not judging it, but it's actually seeing it for what it is, and you feel it. You feel it. Next thing, you meet new interesting people. I've so many times met a lot of amazing people who are on their own journey, and to hear about their journey, about their struggles, about their path, it's so interesting to see how we're all the same, how we're all connected, how we're all helping each other, how we're all so similar, and how I was there, now I'm here. You are there, I was also there. And it's like, we've all recognized some things from each other. And it's really interesting. And sometimes you meet people who are farther ahead, or are busy with other things, and they tell you about things that you haven't done before, and then all of a sudden a new dimension opens for you, and you're like, I want to try that, what he's doing, I want to try what she's doing. And you make friends, you make connections, you create a bond with these people, because they are really nice people. So next benefit is you have more energy and more courage to face your own shit. So when you do this often, you will feel so full of energy and so full of courage. The courage, it's like your inner warrior becomes active to just cut through whatever decision you've been holding on to, off to. It's like you've been avoiding that thing, that confrontation, that whatever, and all of a sudden you have this energy to just confront it head on, not avoid anything. And I found this so incredible and so valuable, because I've been a procrastinator so often in my life. And the more I do KAP, the more I have this sense of I'm just gonna confront this head on. I'm just gonna go through it. I'm just gonna see what the experience is all about, because I know there's nothing to fear about it. Because I know what I perceive out there is not anymore clouded by my fear, because I'm in my power, I'm in my energy. I'm not in the energy of fear, which is projecting worst case scenario, which is projecting a scenario where that I want to avoid, that I don't want to have. I have enough inner strength to go through it, to go towards it. So there is more truth, there is more honesty, your spiritual life. So I know people who are not really meditators, or who are not really into the whole spiritual life and spirituality, yoga, meditation, chanting, all that stuff. But this is a pathway where you don't really need dedication or hours of practice. You can just start to go through this, and the more you do this, the more your sense of spirituality broadens and develops, and you start to uncover this whole layer of life which was before so closed off to you. Like, you learn about embodiment, about energy, about consciousness, about past lives, about reincarnation, about so many topics, and all those things, the more you go through it, the more they are incorporated and seen as just a thing that's there, nothing special. Right? It's just the physical and the non-physical, but they all build, it's one thing. Yes, this is amazing. So the more you do it, the more that there's a loosening of attachment to people or events. I've had so many times in my sessions where I saw myself being attached to persons or events or even addictions or habits, and I saw how they were being formed, and I saw energy cords being cut, and all of a sudden I was free from it, and that addiction or that habit changed. Also, one of the things that occurred during the sessions, excuse me, is you are way more sensitive to nature. When you go out in nature, you will feel this serenity and this deep connection with nature, and you feel like you belong. And it's truly an amazing experience and a beautiful experience on itself. The next thing, the more KAP that you do, the more that you will feel grounded, because all these experiences, all these revelations, all these changes, they're great, but you have to be grounded enough so that the energy can use your body to be in the world, right? Because in a lot of spirituality, people use spiritual practices and meditation, all that stuff, to transcend or walk away or run away from their daily life, from the experience, from having the experience in the body. This energy, I noticed it in the beginning, I also wanted to transcend it. It forces you to embody everything, that is in you and around you, and to live your life fully head on. And your life becomes more and more of a whole, of a dance, of a song, which is your own tune. And you start to enjoy it more and more. I asked a person, what do you think about KAP? She said, you know, when you're in KAP and you're confronted with this energy, you start to have these visions, and it's almost like a fairy tale, like magic, like, whoa, there's this energy and it supports me, it wants me to evolve, it wants me to grow, and you feel supported on your own path of inner growth, of evolution, and you realize, wow, I'm supported by energies that are unseen, and you have this feeling of safety and that you're on the right path, that you can trust, that you can go, that you can do, that you can try, that you fail, that nothing is bad, nothing is wrong. A great thing that I really like about this is, if you go often, a lot of times when you have experiences or other people have experiences, sometimes people get triggered. So for instance, if I shout, right? If I shout really loud or scream in pain or agony, a person might feel threatened or irritated, whatever. For them or for me, it's an opportunity, because their feeling of being threatened is actually a way for them to acknowledge, what is this feeling about? So it's like we help each other. We're like mirrors for each other. Hey, here's your unconsciousness. Hey, here is your unconsciousness. And you can work them with those things. Like, I've had many moments where I use those unconscious reactions in myself to work them out, and then in the next session I will realize they're gone, right? They're gone, and I feel like that material has been worked through. Also, the facilitators, after a while you start to see them like family, and you can really share a lot to them and be really open to them. And they're very nice people who are in touch with themselves, very grounded, very sweet, very warm-hearted, and they really help you on your journey, on your path. Now, if you need more explanation, if you need some kind of guidance or whatever, if you have confusion, they are there for you, and that's amazing. I mean, oftentimes they've said so many things that have just touched me so deeply, or shifted my thinking, or my understanding of life. And yeah, each facilitator has their own frequency and their own style. So I think it's very nice to try out more more facilitators and see what kind of experience you get. For me, I see KAP like it's a tool for spiritual development, for integration, for the awakening of consciousness, for processing your traumas, for processing past life regression, past life traumas, ancestral traumas, like all those stuff. They all come in sessions. Your expression of your body, of who you are, becomes more and more open. You come more and more into your authenticity. I guess the biggest change of this is you learn gradually more and more and more how to embody your totality of your humanity in all aspects of life. It's a tool that wants you to be totally involved in everything that your life is. Yeah. All right.